Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Everyday Ceremony. I'm your host, Tim, and I'm very happy to welcome you back on here today. Today's topic is a very interesting one. It's about the idea and the process of how you can actually stop and bring an end to your emotional drama. It's not about ending your emotions. It's really just about the drama that we create around those emotions. And so a little story up front. A lot of us, we come from a background where we did not really learn how to deal with our emotions. So our emotional intelligence really develops in our second developmental cycle of our incarnation on this planet, which is the time from us being 8 years old to us being 14 years old, roughly. Second developmental cycle. First one is from 1 to 7. That's our physical incarnation. Second one, emotional one, 8 to 14. Third one, from 15 to 21, mental development. So, if we do not really have a good example of somebody being emotionally mature, meaning taking full responsibility for their emotions, having the capacity to hold those emotions, to allow those emotions to travel through their bodies in that time frame from 8 to 14, we will probably not be properly equipped to feel those emotions. Meaning, none of us really learned how to be emotionally mature because none of our parents are. The beautiful thing about that is nobody is to blame. That's just how evolution goes. But now we have that capacity to actually become more emotionally mature and thus actually end the drama, the soap opera around those emotions. And so it's kind of a funny paradox because on a certain level it's like we can't really end the drama because the drama is part of our human experience. And then at the same time, becoming more aware about the drama is already taking out that charge, is taking out the necessity to play out that drama. We might still have some drama inside our head, which is completely normal because that's the reason why we experience emotional drama is not the emotions. It's not about the emotions, but it's about the stories we create those emotions. And that is where the neocortex comes in. That's where our mind comes in. And so we can't really stop that drama because our neocortex is just functioning in exactly that way. It is creating narratives. It is finding reasons for everything. It's logically. And even for something like emotions that are actually really highly irrational, which are wild and oftentimes like inexplainable, our neocortex will find a way to explain them. And that's how we create that drama. Because our mind creates a narrative, a story, and then we have reasons why we feel a certain way. It's like I feel sad because this happened. I feel bad today because I ate this. Because she said this, because he did that, because my parents taught me that, because I'm a woman, because I'm a man, because I'm black, because I'm white, because I'm fat, because I'm skinny, because I'm from Germany, because I'm from Spain, because I'm from the United States, because I'm from Russia, because in my past life this and that happened, because of my ancestral trauma, because of blah, 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 blah. We try to find reasons, and that's where we create the drama. That's where we create those stories. And that's why like one of the most watched things on our television channels are soap operas because we love actually drama. Our minds love the drama. We're addicted to that drama. So in a certain way, it is not about really stopping that drama, but just realizing we are actually addicted to drama. We love the drama. And then it's really about not giving that drama so much control and so much credit when it comes to our emotions. And actually coming back into our body and actually feeling them through our emotional brain. And our emotional brain is not the one up here in our head. It's the one down here. You could say in your gut. You could say it's your solar plexus. And that is actually designed to hold and to process these highly charged emotional feelings, those sensations, those emotional experiences. Our brain up here in our head is not really designed to deal with those highly charged emotions, electrical signals. It is really more designed to think logically. But those things are not that intense. But emotions are intense. But if we try to process those intense emotions through our brain up here in our head, we get overwhelmed. It all seems so crazy and holy shit, then we need to find a resolution or a reason or somebody to blame or like whatsoever, a logical explanation for those emotions. Good luck with that. There is none. Emotions are not to be processed by our brain up here, but by our emotional brain, solar plexus, gut, the body in general. We are supposed to feel those things. And so that's really what we can do to end our emotional drama, is to not give our mind so much credit in that regard. Because our mind is not designed to feel those emotions. Our mind is great at finding reasons, at finding rational explanations, at finding reasons or maybe resolutions for those emotional experiences, but they don't really help us process them and feel them. And that is the only thing that we really need to do with emotions, is feel them, allow them to be here. Emotions are energy in motion. They're moving something within our system. And now we could again say, yes, they're moving ancestral memory through our bodies. They're allowing our bodies to be more free from certain situations that have been traumatic in our past, that are now holding us back, that are now keeping us kind of caught in a certain narrow band of experience, in a certain box, we could say. And you could say that those are your limiting beliefs, and that emotions actually help you to get rid of those limiting beliefs. But only if they're allowed to be expressed and felt fully. And now, what does that mean? What does it mean to actually be emotionally mature and take responsibility for those emotions? Because that is basically what we're gonna do to not create those dramas. And it's pretty simple. It's about feeling them. It's about expressing them in a non-harmful way. It's about expressing them not in a way of projecting them out onto the world, saying like, oh, that was the food I ate made me feel this way, or the person I interacted made me feel this way, or the situation that I experienced makes me feel that way, or it's my parents or my dog or my girlfriend or my wife or my husband, whoever, whatever. No. It's about taking responsibility and just being like, okay, let me express this emotion. And that can happen through art, for example. You can start writing, you can start painting, moving your body, dancing, shaking, somatic shaking. Or for some people, it just works best finding stillness and allowing those things to move within you without reacting outwardly. And that is one side of emotional maturity. Like for those people who usually project things out into the world, like I'm one of those guys, like I usually like always find someone or something to blame because my mind is so strong and so good at creating those narratives. I have a very strong hierarchy of like my mind being on top and wanting to control everything. And so not really allowing those emotions to flow and to be expressed just as they are, to be felt, to be experienced, right? And the other side is that there are people who just avoid those emotions. They don't feel anything. You will ask them and they're like, no, I'm not feeling anything. And they just avoid their emotions. And there's like many different ways of doing that. Anything can be used as a distraction, basically. And for those people, it is really important to recognize that there are emotions and to recognize that suppressing them will not work out because they will just accumulate within their body, and at a certain point they'll burst out. So even people who avoid their emotions will have emotional outbursts at times because our body just can't hold it anymore. But those outbursts are then not healthy expressions of, like, for example, in a creative way, in an artistic way, but they're usually then again projecting out onto family members. Usually it's our loved ones that we really get dramatic with. And so to end our emotional drama is to take responsibility, is to stop avoiding our emotions, recognizing that there are emotions and that actually emotions are here to free our bodies from ancestral memory, from traumatic experiences, from things that are holding us back from truly experiencing the beauty and the freedom and abundance of life. And so giving that credit and allowing those things to be there, and in the same moment not needing something on the outside to project it out onto. Like, I'm 100% with you. Your girlfriend, your mother, your father, your neighbor, your bus driver, the dog, this certain situation might trigger certain emotions within you. 100%. Everyone will trigger something within you. But it doesn't mean that that's their fault. They're actually here to allow you to feel those things, to then be more free afterwards. But for that process to be complete, it needs the realization and recognition that they are just the trigger. They are not the reason or the problem. They're not to judge. They're not to blame. You don't need to project your emotions, your anger, for example, onto them. You don't need to be aggressive. But you can feel that anger within you, and after that anger has been felt and maybe expressed through writing something, drawing something, dancing, singing, whatever way you want to express those emotions, you will feel more free. And so we got to recognize that there's triggers, but the triggers are mostly not the reason for those emotions. They're just there to actually allow us to be freed from that energy that has been stuck within our system for whatever reason. Probably because we never really learned how to express emotions in our second developmental cycle. And so bringing it full cycle now is like, ending emotional drama really means allowing emotions to be processed in the way that they need to be processed in our body, and that is through the solar plexus. That is through feeling them, not through analyzing them, not through rationalizing them, not through finding logical explanations for those emotions, because they're not. They're wild, they're irrational. You could say they're the feminine side, they're just like crazy sometimes. You don't know, they're unpredictable. And then our mind, the masculine aspect of our psyche, wants to control it and understand it and like bring it to an end different ways. The mind is beautiful, and those emotions are also beautiful. And you don't need to use your mind to understand those emotions. Those emotions just need to be felt. And that is how we cultivate actually emotional maturity, is actually we determine how we learned to protect ourselves from emotions early on in life. What did we learn from our parents? What did we learn from our environment, from culture, from society? What are our patterns to create defense mechanisms from emotional pain, from this emotional uncomfortable sensation, from this emotional discomfort? And then once we determined what our defense and protection mechanisms are, to dissolve them by actually taking responsibility and allowing our own inner strength to hold those emotions and feel those emotions and allow those emotions to flow and free our physical, mental, emotional body from those memories that then allow us to really live a more free life. So it's not about understanding emotions. I tried that for a very long time. Didn't fucking work out. Avoiding them also didn't work out. Works out for a certain amount of time until there's an outburst, and that outburst then just creates so much havoc in your life. You don't want that. So avoiding doesn't work. Projecting out doesn't work. Trying to analyze, understand, rationalize emotions doesn't work, because we just hold on to them, and that's how we get those dramas. It's like we all hold on to those emotions instead of just letting them go and flow and letting them be there, really letting them be there for the time they need to be there, and their energy in motion. They're in motion, meaning they're moving. If we don't hold on to them, they move. And they move for a certain amount of time, sometimes quicker, sometimes longer, slower, faster. But they move. So if we allow them to move, they'll go. They'll go. They'll come and they'll go. And that's really how we end our emotional drama. And if you want, and if you're interested in exploring your personal defense and protection patterns when it comes to emotional pain, you can always write me a message and we can have a look into your Gene Keys profile, and you'll get a lot of insight of how you learn to protect yourself. And this awareness about those patterns of defense and protection already helps so much in not needing to play into them, or when they occur, to not give them so much control, to not give them so much credit, and to take a step back, take a breather, and just allow those emotions to be there. So if you want to explore that more in depth, always feel free to send me a DM on Instagram, and then we can connect over there and see how we can make your life a little bit less dramatic, more free, more enjoyable, more abundant and prosperous by allowing those emotions to move out what is not required anymore, and to enjoy life more in the present moment, more playful and free as we are designed to live this life. So that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, if you got something out of it, please share it on your social media. Share it with somebody who you would think would benefit from it. And also leave us a 5-star rating here on Spotify or Apple Podcast. It would help us tremendously grow and share this message with more people. And until then, I wish you a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to welcome you back on the Everyday Ceremony very, very soon. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day.